Hello dear students, we were discussing Unit 2 Curriculum Development and the steps of curriculum development we were discussing in detail. Already the first step of curriculum development we have discussed in detail, that is the formulation of educational objectives. And based on these objectives, we are moving to the second step, that is the selection of learning experiences, and in last class we have started with the second step. Now we will continue the second step of selection of learning experiences with criteria for the selection of learning experiences. What are the criteria which we want to keep in mind while selecting a learning experience? Okay. So the first point is learning experiences selected should be consistent with the philosophy of the institute and lead to the achievement of the objectives of the program. So we know that we have to state the philosophy for educational institution, and based on the philosophy we will be making our objectives. And these two criteria, so that should be consistent with the learning experiences. So philosophy and the objectives, and depending upon that, inconsistent with these two, we have to develop the learning experiences. So that is the first point. Learning experiences selected should be consistent with the philosophy of the institute and lead to the achievement of the objectives of the program. So we have to keep in mind what is the philosophy of our institution and what is the objectives what we listed for the particular educational institution, and based on that we have to provide the learning experiences. Learning experiences should be varied and flexible enough. So whenever we are thinking about learning experiences, multiple learning experiences will be providing one behavior, and one experience will be providing different behaviors. So both we have to consider, and variety of learning experiences should be provided to the student, but it should be flexible, it should not be rigid. That is, if we are doing one experience or if we are not getting a chance of one experience, there should be another provision for another one. That is, it should be flexible enough. Learning experiences should be so selected that it will give the student an opportunity to practice the kind of behavior implied in the objective. So, like already in the first step, we have stated certain objectives, and in that objectives, we know that there are certain behaviors to be demonstrated by the student. So, that behavior demonstration should be provided with this selected experiences. That means the student should give the opportunity to practice or to do that particular behavior which we intended in the first step, that is in the educational objectives. Okay. So the next one, learning experiences should provide opportunity for the development of independent thinking, decision making, sound judgment, intellectual resourcefulness, self discipline, and sound integrity of purpose. So these are higher level independent cognitive activities should be provided or should be encouraged through the learning experiences. So the student should be able to make independent thinking and decision making. They should promote sound judgment of the actions, intellectual resourcefulness. They should know thoroughly regarding or they should be very resourceful regarding each and every activities, self discipline, and sound integrity of purpose. So these all qualities should be promoted in each and every learning experiences. Learning experiences should be adapted to the needs of the students so that they can obtain satisfaction from behaving in the manner implied in the objectives. Okay, the learning experience should be adapted to the needs of the student, what they wanted, and what they wanted, that we have to keep in mind. So learning experiences should be adapted to the needs of the student so that they can obtain satisfaction from behaving the manner implied in the objectives. So it should be according to the needs of the students, and out of that particular activity what they are performing during this learning experiences, they should get some satisfaction out of this particular activity. So that is also very importantly we have to notice. Next point, learning experiences are arranged in a manner that provide continuity, correlation and integration of theory and practice and clinical experience. So this is very important when you are talking about nursing education, because the theory and practice integration is well established during this provision of learning experiences. Whenever we are providing learning experiences, we have to keep in mind that there is a continuity, correlation and integration of theory and practice between this clinical experiences and the theory classes. Okay, so that is very important, especially in nursing education, because it is a practicing profession. Learning experiences are planned and evaluated cooperatively by the teacher and the student. The various experiences provided will be effective, interesting and useful if the evaluation can be cooperatively planned by the teacher and the student. So whenever it is possible, the cooperation between the teacher and the student is very important. It should be interesting and useful for the student, and it should be useful and evaluatable by the teacher also. So both the cooperation between the teacher and the student is important. So we have to consider the needs of the student, level of the student, and accordingly we have to plan. And if there is much difficulty from the part of students, we have to consider. That is, there is a cooperation between the teacher and the student is important. An autocratic method is not advisable for planning any type of learning experiences for the student by the teacher. Learning experiences are selected and arranged to give appropriate emphasis and weightage according to the relative importance of the various learning experiences and content. Okay, that is, we have to arrange in such a way that the emphasis and weightage is given for each and every topic. Because when we are thinking about the nursing education, according to the practice or according to the importance of each subject in their future practice, we will be providing emphasis, weightage. So mark distribution, hours distribution, theory classes, practical hours, examinations, and also the mark distribution. Everything will be based on the importance and the weightage for each subject. So that we have to consider, and that is very important when we are planning the learning experiences and the contents. According to the content, we have to provide the learning experience, and according to the weightage, we have to provide the learning experiences. So that is another point which we have to keep in mind. Okay, so already we have discussed about the criteria for the selection of learning experience. We have to keep in mind the philosophy and the objectives. Okay, and it should be, variety should be there, and it should be flexible, and we have to give an opportunity for the practice of the behavior which we indicated in the first step, that is in the objective. Okay, behavior we have to practice. Then there should be a higher cognitive skills should be developed by the student. When we are giving any experience, we have to keep in mind that next, learning experiences should be adapted to the needs of the student so that they can obtain satisfaction from behaving that particular behavior. Okay, they should get some satisfaction, and it should be arranged in a order, continuity, sequence and integration, and there should be a proper integration between the theory and practice, and there should be cooperation between the teacher and the student. That is very important, and it's arranged in such a way that the emphasis and weightage is given importance. Okay, so altogether the learning experiences we can conclude in such a way that learning experiences are the learning situations and the learning action. Both together we call as learning experiences. So learning situation and the learning action. For example, learning situation and learning action. So learning situation can be a theory classroom, a classroom, and the learning action can be writing notes, teaching learning activities, what we are planning, theory classes, what we are planning, lecture methods, everything can be the learning action. Okay, but this learning experiences, when you are talking about the nursing education, it can be divided into theory and the practice. So theory, theoretical learning experience, everything, the books, library, textbooks, notes writing, everything, the theory knowledge what we are acquiring, the methods by which we are acquiring the theoretical knowledge, everything is learning experiences. Along with that, the practice, that is the practical learning experiences, the community experiences, clinical ward experiences, everything that is a practical learning experiences, both are the learning experiences. Okay, so the learning situation and the learning action which is happening in the theoretical environment or theory or in the practice, both together we can say that. So this is the combination which we name as learning experiences. Okay, hope you all are clear with the second step, that is selection of learning experiences. So thank you very much for your kind listening. Thank you.